Twitter or wherever, and the brand, the store, the person we're looking for didn't have a Facebook page. You guys ever kind of think that they're behind the times? Like they don't have a Facebook page. I want to complain, damn it. You know, there were only 2 registers open in the whole store. You know, people like to complain, and people like to also say good things about businesses, find out more about businesses or brands. And when you don't have a social media page in this day and age, it's 2015. It's almost appalling. You know, so you know, again, talking back to people, conversing with people. Who here has ever been retweeted or spoken to online by somebody more famous than you? ESPN analyst, if it's a celebrity, your favorite musician. How good does that make you feel? You feel important. You show everyone screenshot. Look who talked to me today. Drew Brees retweeted this. You see it all the time. The truth is, people see us in the exact same way, and we see it every day when we actually talk back to people. That's like it literally makes their day. You know, stop yelling in the rooms. Talk to people, make it a conversation on social media. We've got it there. Also, you treat it like a second radio station. That's kind of the way we treat it, you know, at Hot. You know, I think at all Town Square stations, it's like a second station. You know, no matter what you're doing on air, you know, it's almost like some people have that perceived listening, even if they never turn your station on. And I think that's the biggest part about social media, how to connect, is that perception. When they go to Arbitron, oh man, Hot, yeah, they had that. I always see them in my timeline. And I think it's just people living with your brand. So, you know, in the end, and I'm going to keep it really, really short, probably went longer than I wanted it to. Perception is reality. And the reality is people are on social media. We need to be there, talk back to people. And, you know, I stand up whenever I pee. that's how I'm going to wrap up.
I'm going to answer your question, because I think it's totally helpful to everybody is that one reason you guys, I think, do so well on that is always so front of mind is I have never, ever walked into the control room when Didge was there and his laptop wasn't open with what's happening on his Facebook right now. He could have 44 people there and he's looking at it all. He go, hey, you want to see me take it to 100? Watch this. And he'd do that. I don't know if everybody knows how to do that in their control room, but I think if you kept that up, and you saw who was on your space right now, whether it's your Facebook or your website, you would be more engaged. I mean, can you tell people how to look that up where it's, you know, or do you get it from your DME? I mean, I
think we've got, I personally think we've got the best DMEs in the company.
Yep.
Tom, you're cool too. As far as, you know, how to do that, how to watch it, it's just really looking at some things like, you know, I tell my guys all the time, you're going to strike out, you know, you're going to get on base and sometimes you'll hit the home run, but you got to swing. Like you have to at least take a shot at the ball. And, you know, with your content, always just treat it the way, like I said, a second radio station. Would you do this break on air? If you went on air and said, Leonardo DiCaprio and Rihanna were spotted at the Playboy Mansion getting hot and heavy last night. And then that's it. Then you just went to the next song. But if you ask a question with it, if you ask people, you know, do you think this is a good romance, whatever? Do you think Leonardo DiCaprio stands up or sits down when he pees? You know, things like that. I think, you know, obviously asking a question. There's all sorts of tricks and tactics, but I'm going to say this, and I think it goes back to what you were saying. Local is the winner. And this year, one thing that we're going to do with our content on the websites is we're going 50%. One of the two every day generated. If we make up a list, local is just the winner all the way through and through. Huge story we had, and I'm going to end on this no matter how long Mike wants me to stay up here. There's a woman that was panhandling in our market, and I saw a guy post, this woman asked me 3 years ago for money. I gave it to her. Felt terrible, just got a new job, gave her the money, gave me a sob story about her daughter being in an abusive relationship. We've all encountered that story before, but it wasn't the story. It was the fact that he said, then I saw her again about a year later, and she came up to me in a different parking lot with the same story. So I realized then I'd been hosed. The guy explained. Also, he saw her a third time and lost it. He, you know, followed her around. Everyone she was trying to get money from would blow her plan up. So he shared the photo, and I'm like, okay, this happens to everyone. But then I saw people saying, I saw her too. She told me this, and all these different places around town. So we're like, yeah, this might be slander, but let's just give it a shot. So we put up. We put up.
We'll take it down. We'll take it down.
Wow.
We put up. He took a snapshot of the woman, and she was, doing the TMZ, paparazzi thing. But I mean, it was just, I knew based on the comments on this guy's post that this guy was telling the truth. All these people from all different walks of life. This is crazy, and I was just amazed at how many people knew this woman. I'm like, man, she needs to get into sales. This is amazing, So I decided to share the photo in a story, but I was very allegedly, purportedly about it, so we weren't saying it. And it just blew up. And, sharing it with 100,000 more people in the market, the stories were just insane. So then we decided to keep a running list of what people were saying based on the comments of where people encountered her. So we had this massive list of all these places that this woman had allegedly given this sob story. The hotel that she was staying at ended up realizing everything was true. It was I feel terrible now because it was a really good story, man. For years she's been getting away with it, but social media, I guess the local made it a big deal. It could have been someone in Grand Rapids or somewhere else, and I don't think it would have even gotten any traction, but because it was local and, we're talking about the girl or the guy whose ass was out while, she was
that
watching.
That was really a dude.
Okay, well, there you go. And everyone may know about that one person in town, but that's kind of the local always wins. And I think you guys know this, an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe too late on breaking news stories. Some stories are old before they even happen. Just think about that as well. Like I said, I can go on. If you guys ever want to reach out, email, I'll answer any questions, help you guys with anything as far as social media.
Another thing that I'll add to that is I think we've all heard the saying, business makes business. If you're going through town and you see a restaurant, there's no cars in the parking lot, chances are you're not going to stop there. If you go to the next restaurant that's full, you go, I'll go inside. It must be pretty good. Everybody else eats there. Same thing with your Facebook, your website, or whatever. It's out of sight, it's out of mind. If you're not looking at it while you're on the air, nothing's going on. But if you open it up and you see there's something going on there, it makes you want to get involved and you can increase it. So keep an eye on it. Keep it in front of you. Yeah. Please.
Social media companies, Scott can verify this. Our Twitter following is boomed over the last while. Just if you're talking about someone, tag them. Put their handle in it, because if they retweet it, it'll go exponential. And especially if someone tweets at your brand, unless they're being ignorant or something, you can't talk back at them. They love it. It's another way to hold a conversation. That's almost double our following.
Yeah, follow people back if you guys can. Again, I'd rather you guys just email me for I can give you a whole list of things to do. But if you follow people back, not only do you get to creep on their lives, you get to actually communicate with them, and they feel like, as much as being retweeted, imagine if your favorite celebrity, musician, whoever followed you, and I cared about what you yelled into.
And remember, you may be their Drew Brees.
Yeah.
They may be all excited to see you follow them. All right, next. What was it? Let's see. Big Homie? Something like that? Was that it? Okay. You're next, big guy. You want to appear in the community.
Here in the community. Here in the community. Up there.
Keeping time.
Oh, well, first of all, I just want to kind of, go on what Digital was saying as far as social media. It's definitely, a real big thing, I think. And that's why we're going to talk about the importance of being in the community twice a week, because social media sometimes made a lot of folks lazy, to the point where they don't get out as much as they used to. It's, to a degree, it's kind of affected sometimes sales on certain events that go on because promoters feel like they can promote it on social media rather than buying advertising for it. And if they get a little sold out crowd, then they feel like radio is not effective. So I think it's very important for us to be out. And I understand that we've all picked up a lot of different things, doing a lot of different works now, a lot of different jobs. So we're not able to get out as much. But as we were writing down yesterday, I was talking to Don, and he brought up a very, very good fact on some of this. It doesn't mean that we have to actually attend every event. It just basically means just getting out and touching people. just kind of meeting basically what was said a little bit earlier. Even if you're out for lunch, if you were to make a stop by a certain business, a certain organization, or something like that, just to pass them out a business card, just talk to them and introduce yourself. Let them know, hey, if you guys have anything coming up, all you got to do is reach out to us. You can email us, you can give us a call. We'll definitely kind of do something to try to help out your event. One big thing that we do at 107 that we've been doing for the past few years is Harvest Fest. We do it with the local YMCA. It's the big thing they do every Halloween. Takes nothing for us, just a little time to go out to the event. We'll do a few a couple of breaks from out there to let people know to come through. They give out free hot dogs, they give out free sodas, they give out candy. Been a big event since like 2006. Probably we start at 5 o'clock. Sometimes we're done by 6 because it's just gotten that big that kids come out into the community. They know it's a safe event. Parents don't have to worry about it. They dress up in the old costumes. It's always cute. We always do posts on the websites about it too. Also, it's other ways to get involved in the community. And sometimes, like I said, you don't have to leave the job. We actually set it up now where we have people come in and record PSAs. We keep them short, like maybe 15 seconds. They'll come in and say, hey, Aaron Turner from let's see, the former Reynard YMCA or whatever the case may be. We have this coming up. It's going to be this Saturday. For more details, you can go to 107jams.com. So basically what it does is to give them the chance to be on the radio, kind of hear themselves, because a lot of times they call and you want to come in and do an interview. And I'm like, you doing one-time interview is not going to be as effective as getting this to run and rotate, like pretty much periodically throughout the whole week. It might run maybe 10 or 15 times. But it also draws people to go to the website because Chill pretty much puts all the event stuff on the events page, and they can see where it's going to be, what else it's going to entail, give them the address, the location of where it's going to be at. So it definitely kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. They're getting heard on the radio, we're getting the information on the website, and they get a chance to go to it and, just kind of see what's going on. And like I said, one thing I think is really important to be in the community because it's kind of like they were talking about. It's funny, we were talking to an artist the other day, and he was talking about Mystical. A lot of folks know Mystical. He was saying that for a minute, Mystical was kind of on this arrogant tip. Didn't really like, fans. They would be up on him, and he'd get like, y'all in my space and things like that. So his road manager actually said, you know what? Well, let me tell you something. Remember the time we went through the airport? You saw Tina Marie. You grew up listening to her music. You saw the way she greeted you. She hugged them. She embraced them. He said you do the same thing to your fans. These are the people that listen to your music. You might be having a bad day, but you just kind of acknowledging them, taking a picture is basically going to make their day. They're going to remember this for years to come. So it's the same thing when it comes to our brands and our radio stations. We might be having a bad day. I tell them all the time, people don't really care if we're having it's not their responsibility. I could have a situation with my wife. I could have a longer trip to get to work because I've been backed up behind somebody that can't drive. But when I get to that radio station, I got to give them the best show. I got to give them the best presentation. I got to let them know that to get away from the desk. We're around computers all day long. So to get out and just kind of go out and see what's out there, go out and talk to different people, see what we can do to kind of help them out, pass out a business card, shake hands. If you're in a restaurant, hey, sometimes you might even want to come from here. We've been standing in line sometimes at Walmart, and it might be something small, but a person might have a big buggy of stuff, and they're like, you go ahead up front. You don't have much. So it's just small things like that you can just kind of remember. So very important, being in the community. So keep that up.
Along the lines, you talked about the people doing PSAs and stuff, which is excellent. One thing that we do in Lafayette that honestly is probably one of the most popular things that we do as far as I'm concerned, because I get the most requests for it, is we have a little thing called community calendar. And we actually have, Debbie Ray and Mark Pope kind of manage that. And it's just a list of the things. And it's some barbecue for somebody battling cancer. It's a women's auxiliary meeting to play poker or whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's the community calendar. Now, we're not out there, but as far as our audience goes, doing a little community calendar like that is very, very effective as far as letting people know that you are in touch with the community. So if you don't have something like that, get with your OEM and stuff and maybe design something and run it, because I've seen the results. And when I tell somebody it'll be on the community calendar, it's not, guess who gets the phone call? You told me it'd be there. I didn't hear it. And I'm like, oh, shit. Debbie, I promise this, please get it up this week. So, Don?
When we do those PSAs, we always have the people come in and do them themselves. They ask, well, can y'all do that? No, do that. No, do it.
That's a great idea.
Those
If
people
you've
on
got
the-
time and the staff,
We
yeah.
rotate them 1 hour, and they also serve for our quarterly reports in our public service spot.
Yeah.
We put those things in there. And you know, they go tell every one of their friends, I'm gonna be on the radio. We rotate them on all 5 stations.
Great.
So those things work really well. They send people to our events. So.
Good. Let's see. Did I don't have the right name here. I know that's wrong. So Gary, you had where's Gary?
Video.
You got video, right? Okay. I had the wrong name down. You ready?
Over the top, wasn't it? All right. You know, if you work in the media, we all have perceived acquaintances. If you go out and you're doing a remote or you're just, you know, at the grocery store, somebody recognizes you by your voice, which probably happens quite a bit. They feel like they already know you. There are a few people here that have worked in television. You get it even more so because you're in their homes every day, just like we're in their homes on their radio, but you're in their homes and your faces in their homes too. So a lot of these people feel like they already know you. The fact that we have now made a shift to video is a big advantage to all of us because they hear you on the air and now they see your face and they feel that you're really a friend. And the more you're in front of them, the more you entertain them, the more of a friend they're going to be and the more likely they're going to be to write down in a diary, I listen to Gina Cook every day, even if they don't listen to Gina Cook every day. So let's talk a little bit about these videos. First of all, you don't have to be Fellini. You don't have to be the next great filmmaker, but you do have to be compelling. And that is a lot of what we've talked about this morning is being compelling. Talking about what's your morning bathroom habit? Everybody's got one. That's compelling. Chances are something grabs your interest and you really want to know more about it. That's the subject for a video, because if you want to know more about it, or if you've got an interesting hobby, or you do something interesting on the side, that's compelling information. So the most important thing is to make these videos compelling. Everything else is secondary. There's nothing more important than making your video compelling. Now, I've been in front of the camera a lot. I've appeared in 6 movies, and my experience in front of the camera, I've learned a lot from looking over the shoulders of people who know what they're doing behind the camera. And they've taught me a few things. First of all, and this is just a personal note, have your phone set on video all the time. Always shoot horizontally. This is not video. This is video. Thank you. Who knew? But anyway, that way you're ready for any situation that comes along. If later all you need is a still picture, you can grab a frame off that, but you can't turn a video from a still picture. Boy Scout motto, be prepared. Always be prepared. You never know when somebody's going to die during a remote. You want that video. Don't get bogged down about quality. I'm not saying, you know, shoot haphazardly or don't care about it. When I'm talking about quality, I'm talking about we're all used to high def movies now. Everything is high def. Everything is super close up. They got a macro lens. They got a macro micro lens. They have all the stuff at their disposal. We have cell phones at best. I'm going to give you an example. Now, this is not a video we shot. This is a video we found. In Lake Charles, there is a bridge called the I-10 Bridge. It's a beautiful bridge, big sweeping arc. When you first get on it, you're headed west. When you get off of it, you're headed north. Beautiful bridge. It's been there for quite a while. Well, back in 1973, this guy decided, I'm going to skateboard down this bridge. So we found the video of it. Now, this was shot on a Super 8 camera. We probably had a copy of his grandmother's copy of this. It looked like a sand painting brought to life. The quality was horrendous, but it was compelling. I mean, how many people had driven over that bridge and how many teenagers had thought, I'd like to skate down this bridge and see what would happen? Well, we put it up, crappy quality. We got 56,000 views. Is that about right?
62,000.
62,000 views. Now, this is in a town of 74,000 people. So don't get bogged down in the quality. Don't worry if it's high def. Don't worry about being the next George Lucas. It was local, it was compelling, and it really connected with the audience. Don't be intimidated about, pardon?
We saw it in Lafayette.
Oh, you saw it in Lafayette too?
When we first started doing video, it's one of the very first videos that I put up on our website.
No kidding.
The most views.
I'll expect that royalty check coming right in. Don't be shy about editing. One of the things I definitely learned from being in movies is there's one basic edit that they use 95 to 99% of the time. It's a simple cut. Shoot your video all at once. Even if you're able to shoot the whole thing in one sitting, cut it up, chop it up, make various edits along the way. Cut out anything that doesn't move the story forward. Fading in and fading out does not move the story forward. In fact, unless you're doing a cooking show and you want to show, hey, we put it in the oven, fade in, fade out, it's done. It shows the passage of time and it slows things down. Just real simple cuts. Stay away from special effects too. We're not in the special effects business unless you're just a wizard at computer effects. Stay away from the special effects. You've got a myriad of them available to you on every editing program you download. Pretend they don't exist. You know, when you go in to do regular production at the radio station, you know, there's a limit. You put in a little fattening on it, a little sweetening on it, but you know when to quit. Well, it's the same that holds true for video. Edit to keep the movie story moving forward. Kind of covered that already. A lot of quick cuts will always keep things moving forward. Take MTV, for example. They were the masters of the quick cut, and as a result, almost every movie you watch nowadays is just a series of quick cuts. Local. We've gone over that. Almost everybody has covered that this morning. There's something in your town that will interest people. I'll bet every single market has a haunted house or houses that are supposed to be haunted or a local character or something like that. It's all right there in front of us. And just as several people have said, we've got to learn to take advantage of it. 5 things you can do immediately to improve your video. Think in shots. Some video you can shoot in one long shot, but if you have time, compose the video into a series of shots. I've spent an entire day in front of a movie camera shooting one scene that was on the screen for 30 seconds because they shot it from all kinds of different angles. Maybe you don't have time to do that, but if you do, take the time and do that right, and it will make your video move much faster. It will be much more compelling. Close-ups whenever possible. They did some research on talk shows. They found that when the camera was on a 2-shot, that people felt they had to listen closer. But when it went in on a close-up of somebody, they felt in the moment. They felt they were actually there talking to that person themselves. The eyes always tell the story. Keep the light behind you. Always remember that. Otherwise, if you're shooting somebody in the witness protection program, have the light behind them, of course. But if you have the light behind you, your subject is going to show up much better. Think of your video camera as a still camera. Frame each shot like that. Look at it as a still camera. I once walked out on a movie called Barry Lyndon. Horrible movie as far as the story goes. But I have to give them credit. Every single frame of that movie could have been a fantastic still picture. It had that going for it. The rest of the movie was very bad. Finally, cut it. Take your video. If you think it needs to be 1.5 minutes long, cut it down to 45 seconds. Cut your videos by 2/3. The audience will appreciate it, and you'll get a lot more views. People will stay with it through the end. You get time spent on the viewing instead of them. You have 10 seconds to establish contact with somebody looking at one of your videos. About the same time we give a record that we're considering playing, if it doesn't grab you in the first 10 seconds, it's a stiff. Well, the same holds true for video. So keep it brief, keep it local, keep it compelling, and you'll probably find your UVs going up. And as far as I'm concerned, when more people watch your video, more people are listening to you on the air.
Steven Spielberg there, man. That was great.
Now, and let me add one thing here, because what Gary was saying was right. Using just the plain old simple cut is the most effective thing you can do. If you've got a video where you just filmed somebody and they talked for 2 minutes and that was everything you wanted in the video, cut it up anyway, because every cut adds energy to your video. You see this like Jenna Marbles. I don't know if everybody sees that on YouTube. She's very popular. She cuts her videos up, cut that dead space out, because you can see somebody sit in place for 2 minutes and see them talk. When you cut it up, it adds energy to an otherwise static shot. So the same thing you would do in audio, where you would cut out all those dead spots, do the same thing in your video, and your video is going to feel a lot more immediate. Why was MTV so successful? Why do movies emulate all those cuts? Because they kept the momentum going by adding more cuts in. It's a really simple trick that you can do. And if you don't know how to edit video, if you can edit audio, I guarantee you can edit video.
What's the best editing software?
Yeah.
Really, honestly, you don't have to go high tech. Most Windows machines now have the Windows Live Movie Maker, which is pretty simple to use. I think most machines nowadays have it free built in. iMovie is, if you got a Mac, that we got a Mac, so we could have iMovie.
So do we, yeah.
Beyond that, but they're really not all that different. Some are more intuitive than others. I think Sony,
Get with your DME.
Yeah,
Denisha,
but really, Windows
make
Live.
sure you've got the right software to do this. Yeah.
The Windows Movie Maker really, for what we're going to be doing, is just really quick and simple, and you just chop, chop, chop.
We're working on sending out a Mac for editing and 3 HD webcams to every market, and I'm hoping that they'll be sent out.
Is this the first time you've ever gotten applause?
Now you know why I invited him. Now you know why I invited him. Yeah.
This last thing on video, just if you're interviewing someone or you have one person on camera, please God do not center them. Like, don't have them right in the middle of the camera. It's one of the most boring things in video. It's a simple rule that I learned in TV. It's called Rule of Thirds. Basically, set up your screen into a tic-tac-toe board. Put whatever your focus is on one of the focal points. It looks way stronger. Like, if you could just Google Rule of Thirds, you'll see exactly. If you ever watch videos on CNN, they're interviewed. It's not just a floating head in the middle of the screen. They're off to a side with subject matter behind them.
Okay.
For example, if you're doing a video on a remote site, don't just put your talking head in the middle of the screen. Put wherever you're at over your actual.
It establishes a sense of place.
It makes it look 1,000 times better.
Yep.
Just on a simple level.
So much better than a selfie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Jude, get to the point, baby.
All right. That's right. It'll be the shortest one. I got a peek, so it's really sit down and talk about this. All right, get to the point. Good day. You probably hear a break like something like this. This would be on our station. KDM's Best Country, 97.3 The Dog. Hey, the rodeo is coming to town, and it's coming up on the 15th through the 18th. I can't wait. Rodeo is a lot of fun, yada, yada. Then, so the Midwinter Fair, the 63rd Annual Midwinter Fair Rodeo is Thursday, January 15th through Sunday, January 18th. Kids seats start at $12 or $9. Adults, $12. You can get your tickets at Fry Outfitters and Eunice, and you can get them at Cavender's and the Boot Barn and the Cowboys Western Store. You can also go to midwinterfairrodeos.com. And for more details, go to 973thedog.com. Once again, that's the 63rd Annual. We all heard that break. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to tell you what I told you I was going to tell you. And then I'm going to recap what I just told you. We don't get to the point. I don't know why we do that. I have a couple of theories. Who's on the air and has an ego? And if you got your hand down, you're lying sacks of shit. We all have egos, and that's kind of that's just who we are. That doesn't mean we're bad people. We love us some us.
Fuck you.
Okay. That's his one. We love us some us. We think we're we think we're the best thing since sliced bread. People should hear the superfluous amount of wonderful material that's coming out of our mouth, and everybody just captivated and hanging on. We all know that's true. We live in an attention span type society. I think another reason why we tend to drag out our breaks is we think our audience is dumb. We dumb them down. It's probably because when we give away something and we go through the whole spiel of, hey, we're giving away rodeo tickets and da-da-da, you get them on the phone, and what do they say?
Well,
Thank you. So you think every one of them is a dumbass. So you explain things 8 times on the air. And I cringe when I hear that. Well, one of our sales guys walked in the other day and said, man, on station competition, I just heard the jock do a 3-minute weather. Holy shit. Who's going to listen to that? We are just, we all know about shrinking attention spans and all the bombardment of information that we get. Here's all the information I stole from the internet. Every day, Americans consume 34 gigabytes of content. I don't know about y'all phones, mine's 16 gigs. It's a lot of porn. No. The average person checks their phone 150 times a day. If you work, you probably get about 300 emails work-related per week. You only truly focus 6 hours per week. Our attention spans are shrinking. You actually, in the year 2000, you had a 12-second attention span. Right now, you have an 8-second attention span. So I've already lost you a whole bunch of times. 3/4 of professionals tune out presentations within the first minute. You've been paying attention, and the rest of us have not. After you stop reading an email after 30 seconds, you stop listening to colleagues after 15 seconds because they didn't get to the point quickly. And the average worker is interrupted 60 times per day. And if you're Mike or Lisa, it's about, 240 times per day. So you get where I'm going with this. We're all over, and that's our audience. We're talking about video, and I think this, the same thing. We're talking about, if it's a minute, cut it down to 45 seconds. I had a discussion with our assistant DME about video. We had like a 4-minute video, and I was like, man, we just didn't get to the point. And he was like, as long as it's captivating, as long as it's entertaining, 4 minutes is actually not that bad. And I was kind of arguing with him. I was like, you know what? I see your point. It's real simple. But let's trim it down. I'm on a music station. I do have some experience on the talk and sports side. So this is going to be what I'm about to say more towards our music stations, but just craft a good, concise break. And in this day where we're so, I got to check our Facebook and our Twitter and go look at our YouTube views and check my email and have all this shit up at the same time. What's sometimes the last what I'm about to talk about. So what we do is, Bruce brought this up, and it's something we kind of always do, and you just kind of forget. And I'm about to remind my jocks about that. Put your cans on at least 30 seconds before the song is over. Put your cans on, turn the mic on. Just get in your break. It's the simplest thing. Do we do it? No, we go, Katie has best country, barely hitting it. Put your cans on 30 seconds for the end of the song. Get in your break. Start formalizing what you want to talk about. Feel the mood of the song. Turn on that microphone maybe about 15 seconds before you're to talk. You know that you're not going to be talking. And just really get into it and go to town and do that break. On our morning show, we actually use music beds. None of them more than 2 minutes long. And we strive to not do a break longer than 2 minutes. I know a lot of morning shows would argue with me, and if it was just the Bruce Michaels show, then we'll probably let him go to town. But since it's Bruce and Jude, and I'm not the clever, witty one, we try to be concise. We know people's attention spans. Let's get in, let's shout, let's be clever, let's be humorous, let's be entertaining, and let's get out and let's play some music. It's a simple concept. It's kind of worked for us. I'm not bragging, but we are the #1 station in our market, and I think that's that's part of what we do. We're quick, we're entertaining, and we get out. I'm sorry. Same things with remote breaks. Do you guys have a stopwatch for remote breaks, or you just go to town? How many times have you heard a competitor do a 4 or 5 minute break? I mean, how many times you want to hear about a Ford F-150? I mean, we time our remote breaks. They pay for a minute. Let's give it to them. I know the salespeople may not like it, but what's best for our audience? It's simple things like that. And I think I got to the point. That's about it.
Jude, I love one thing that you brought up because it allowed me to finally get this out. You said something I hadn't heard in 35 years, but I was taught when I got started. Put your earphones on 30 seconds before you break. You've guaranteed your concentration. You stop distractions, all that good stuff. And look, I'm the cause of most of y'all not doing it. I walk in there. Okay, now, sorry. So we have bought 3 pair of these wonderful Sony headphones. Somebody from each market is going to get a pair today. See, another reason I don't have an agenda? Keep the suspense going, baby. Because I'm going to put on there giveaway headphones. Y'all all not heard anything they said. Waiting for the headphones, yeah. So what time we got, Lisa, or anybody?
It's 10 o'clock.
All right, we'll do one or two more, and then we'll take a break. Entertain and inspire. Woo! The man that killed someone.
They just decided it wasn't worth living anymore.
You can do it.
I can't reach it.
You keep them on the screen.
I'm sorry, my voice is kind
Good
of
camera work
shot.
there, Jack.
So.
Good camera.
It's a microphone, not a computer.
Yep. Why don't you hand that over?
Remember 30 trips.
I know. I was talking to Eric a couple of minutes ago because I'm sitting next to him, and I was thinking, who would have thought that 2 people in the same company would use the on-air name Big Homie? I'm thinking, dude, you too? All right. Oh, thank you. Sorry, that's not too loud, I hope. Okay.
What?
Before I get started, I want to get a sense of the room, a sense of the chronology in the room. So if you would, just bear with me. If you're on the radio, raise your hand. Okay, keep them up. If you're on the radio and you're over the age of 40, raise your hand. If you're on the radio and you're over the age of 45, raise your hand.
This is wrong.
If you're over the age of 50, raise your hand.
Keep it up, EMAC. I am so not in favor of this.
Here's your jump off point, baby. If you're over the age of 55, raise your hand. Over the age of 60, raise your hand.
He wins the headset.
Over the age of 61, raise your hand.
That's all you got.
Over the age of 62, raise your hand.
He's trying to kill him.
Everybody over the age of 62 gets early lunch.
At a discount.
How old are you? Oh, you got me by a year. How many people in the room are familiar with the movie Network? It's William Holden and Peter Finch, and if you're not, it's kind of a TV-oriented movie, and if you're not, it's the movie from which the phrase "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore" comes from. And in that movie, William Holden, he plays an old TV guy, like an old news TV guy, and he has the line, "I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning." And I think I'm going to come back to this. My topic today is inspire and entertain and inform. And I had a great speech written until we all did the introductions. And I thought, I would never in a million years presume to tell any of you how to do those three things. I ain't that good. I try to do it on a daily basis, and I'm going around the room with you guys, and I'm thinking, yeah, you'll figure it out. You've already figured it out. I want to hear what you have to say about that. So instead, I decided what I would do is tell you a couple of old guy radio stories that inspire me literally every day. When I was a young, up-tempo, top 40 DJ, I worked for a guy who wanted everything done over music, i.e. he wanted everything over song intros. So you had 8 seconds, you had 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, whatever. Now, I, being a young, ego-driven DJ, I thought I should be able to talk more into stop sets, just like on the morning show. And believe it or not, he disagreed. So we were discussing this at one point, and he said, here's how you got to think of it. I said, yeah. He said, you're like a painter. And I said, because I was a wise guy, I said, you mean like a house painter? He said, no, you're like an artist. Now he had my attention. He said, there's the frame. There's the canvas. I get the frame. You get the canvas. You stay inside my frame. You can do anything you want on your canvas. You talk about lighting a fire under a 21-year-old DJ. That's a story that stays with me to this very day. Now, back to William Holden. I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. When I was working in Rochester, New York, we had a staff meeting one day. This is like the early 80s, and they called us all into the room one day, and they sat us down, 6 or 7 of us, and the general manager comes in, the PD comes in, and they said, here's the news, boys. We're changing format next Friday. You're all fired, but you've got 5 more shows. And then they walked out. And the 6 or 7 of us sat there and we looked around and just thinking. And the midday guy says, you think I'm going to try those last 5 shows? I guarantee you, I'm going to mail it in. And everybody in the room applauded because we thought, yeah, we'll show them. They can't do this to us. And there was one guy who was the afternoon guy, and his name was Mark Cronin. And Cronin stands up and says, I'm going to do the best 5 shows I ever did. And we all looked at it. And the midday guy says, what are you talking about? They're firing us. And Cronin says, he says, God, I love this job. And they're taking it away from me. And if I don't try those last 5 shows, I'm giving it back to them early. And I'm not going to do that. Aaron McCarty, my morning show partner, and I, we talk about this occasionally, that one day is going to be the last day. Maybe we'll decide when it is. Maybe someone else will decide when that is. But when that last day comes, I guarantee you what we'll be thinking about is what we would give for one more day, even if it was the worst day of all. Each of us has days. Each of us has days where it's coming off the rails, where nothing's going right, it's uphill. There's days in the studio where you just go in and you don't want to be there. And when we have those days, when I have those days, I think about William Holden, and I think about Mark Cronin, and I think about their frame, and I think about my canvas. And I'm not giving it back one day too soon. Thank you very much.
Hey, Greg, give that guy.
Hey, what channel's he on?
I was gonna say, I need to give him a podium in a congregation, baby. I'm coming to the church with you. Hey, no better time to take a break than after that, and everybody cool off. Great job. So we'll take another 10-minute break, something like that, and be back in here. Wow. Jesus Christ. Put him on the sports station. Woo.
Love it.
Sorry, camera.
Yeah, sorry, but we got.
I have used that. Is that allergies? Uh-oh. Well, I only have Mucinex. I have nothing. Okay. I have
I don't want to follow that.
No, I don't.
There's two of us.
We gotta be right there. We gotta be. You have 40 years to get there.
Bruce? That was good. Are you aware of the RDS issue that we're having? Matt said it's the RDS again. That's why the volume's next to nothing. So we can talk to RDS on the web transmitter. They're just going to send us what we'll do with it. We're in a world of Chris Reed lose a bet and have to put the music on silent. So it's kind of a temporary thing. As long as you know, Matt went down to the transmitter. He said he was going to plug it back in.
Just get rid of it.
For the time being. I said it doesn't work anyway.
It was bad now, you know, it's not the oldest.
Plug it. So
You didn't lose a bet.
Glad they took a
I
break.
said,
I always want to follow that. People
were complaining because they're like,
Oh, well, fix it. Just make it work, and it will fix it right when we get a chance.
I'm gonna
Improve.
put a lie, it's on the track at the same time. We're getting you some new stuff. Putting some new stuff. Big deal. I like that.
I'm so proud of you guys. It's her veteran.
It looks like it's already.
Oh, it is?
Connected on purpose.
She might have, just so if anybody kicked it, it wouldn't take the whole computer down.
Yeah, good thing.
Get out.
and I was like, oh, hey.
Get new equipment, bear with us.
I've got control over this. Okay.
Awesome. Right.
You have to report ads? No? You don't have to report ads today?
I have the marbles ready.
Report ads?
When I looked at mine, he went like,
No one will ever remember me for anything else.
Oh, I think it's
It's over. It's over.
like I said, I just have Randy be our source now. I just got a midday stuff.
I don't know. It's kind of late for me.
It's not a favorite.
It's an hour ago. It's like an hour ago. It's a great record. I mean, the McCartney thing was ever whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna.
just like I told you. That's great, Dave. I appreciate that.
I mean, the same thing as you just did.
You on trivia pack yet, Evans?
Yeah.
This is the game created for you.
That's actually what I was
Hey,
How did you know?
I'm psychic. It was
The one where you compete against people.
a good on trivia. Compete on trivia.
Yeah. Got some
Fucking amazing.
Mary
Let's beat my family. Yeah, we're going against Casey. So it has like categories. I suck at Wolverine skeleton is made of I'm gonna go with claws. Is it vibranium?
I would say vibranium.
Adamantium. What's up?
Yeah, I think it's broadcast. There's a link. The link?
No.
Let me forward it to you.
Are you the one viewer? Who is that one viewer?
That's why we play.
This one right here. We like only play it at night, and I'm always so sad I'm speaking to you.
Wait,
Once it goes to days, I can't wait.
You need to get that. You need to get that in the like.
No dot, right? No dot. Or yeah, dot. You can go either way. Oh, here it
Those
is.
are the best. One who cares always
We go both ways.
In between shooting, you know.
I like the
Not
one where you
prejudice.
have
No,
five
no, no dot.
Clearly the 72 comments ahead of you and the 362 likes.
But yeah, you're the cool kid, because you send it there.
Let's go.
You got any extra apples down there?
No.
How many home runs did Mark McGuire hit in the last series of the 98 season? I'm going to go with the skill because I don't know that one. This is a crucial question.
No, he hit like 3 to reach 70.
Maybe this isn't the end for you. I kill him because it lands on sports. I'm usually 100% again.
That was a tough one.
Really crack. Check it. So you got art, sports, history, science, geography. And that's what you want right there. That's entertainment. Trivia crack, man. Crack. Oh, see the crowd? No, that's good. You get to pick what you play for.
Oh, what are you going for?
I'm a history guy.
Do it.
I got about a C in high school history. Which British Prime Minister won the Nobel Peace Prize for literature?
No, it doesn't.
The Nobel Prize for literature. Was it John Ruskin, Robert Walpole, Winston Churchill? It's got to be Winston. My name is David Lloyd. Won the Nobel Prize for literature. It's got to be Churchill, right? You guys all got to give me one.
No, you got it.
It's everybody.
Churchill, in your face. You know, like I did in school, I go with the answer, one answer that I know. I know.
You know, they have
California, County, New York.
Oh, he's the roasted guy.
Couldn't have got it anywhere else.
California, sorry.
They have a statue of Winston Churchill.
What? It's like a folktale from last day. Crucial against it. Wow. Oh, are you sides guy? Oh, I bet Well, first, what's ATP? Mitochondria.
Oh, what it manipulates something to create energy.
Oh, it's glucose. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock exactly, the shut off comes on. There's the stop broadcast button. Now you can just hit the power button and shut it down. The camera's here. You can
So what am I taking?
this right here.
Okay.
Just put the laptop, the power cord, the camera in here, and the mic stand.
Okay. So it's just this laptop.
Camera.
Camera.
And there's the back cord.
This, the mic and all that's not it.
No.
Okay.
Just this setup here.
All right. Did you hear that? Just so I don't screw it up. I'm taking the laptop, the power cord, and the mic and the stand.
Yep.
That will bring fun.
I'm telling you, they thought that'd be just the whole high school rule, you know, the one question that you want to you gotta say, well, you give me an empty what movie?
I think it's an urban cowboy.
You better to go.
It's like guilty pleasures. That's what, yeah. It's the most quotable.
Okay. Took a little extra time because I know nobody wants to follow that. So, but next we've got Be Prepared. Chris, Lake Charles, you want to come and tell us how to be prepared? Boy Scout.
You know, I was up till about 11:30 last night. Not, you know, a lot of people were at the bar, a lot of people watching the ball game and all that. And just some of the phenomenal speaking that we've heard all morning long. It's not only just the fact that you're getting the job done, but the thing is that, you know, the different personalities doing what we do, no matter if it's videotaping, no matter if it's just different stories, different things. I mean, you inspired me with your last story as far as with the painting. So every one of us, we've arrived here, no matter if you've been doing this 40 plus years, 30 plus years, 20 plus years and all that. And it's like, but yet here we are. And I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm up trying to figure, okay, so how am I going to tell you as far as be prepared when it comes to show prep and all this other kind of stuff? You know, I'm not even in the same boat as you. So like many, I'm like, oh God, okay, I'm going to have to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite that. Man, that was awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's been covered. So I'm going to share what I do. Because who am I? Because being prepared, no matter if it's a morning show, no matter if it's a midday show, no matter if it's an afternoon show, whatever you put into it, the balancing act. You know, what's the talk right now? Okay, in Lake Charles, if it's Common Core or the plants or, you know, casinos, blah, 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 blah. In Shreveport, how Town Square kind of took over this casino, and we've just been having a blast. And Lafayette, it's like, wow, Bill Cosby's coming. You know, it's just the different things. What are we talking about? What are people talking about when it comes to Lafayette, Lake Charles, Shreveport? That's the one question once I get to the radio station, and no matter what shift you do you give yourself an hour? Do you give yourself 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours? Bruce, you still get there about 2? I do a show.
Do a show. Do a show. Do a show. McCoy, same thing. I mean, you put so much time, but the thing is this. As much time as you put in preparing your show, that's how good it's going to be. But you have to keep that balance. You know, at one time, years ago, it's like, look how I'm dressed, for instance. You know, I did not know. This is actually my first time I've come out here. So I'm thinking, oh, wow, cool, great. And I look too damn hip for the room. Yeah, the casual, but I'll be the butt of my joke. Look at me. Because at one time, that's how the show was. I could have the sound from American Idol. I can have the voice. We can have all the feedback from the big game last night. Blah, 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 blah. Because all I have is 9 breaks to work with. Oh, and yeah, by the way, there's another obstacle. It has to go along with Scott, too. I am all bouncing for the rooms. He brings his persona in, and we try to make it work. But the thing is that if you don't have that balancing act of, you know, what's happening in Hollywood, TMZ, whatever, and what's happening here in Shreveport, how do we make it relate in Lake Charles? How do we make it relate in Lafayette? You have to have that common deal, especially with the listeners. One thing that I do, it's so easy if you can find that hot topic. That hot topic. What is Lafayette talking about? What is Lake Charles talking about? What is Shreveport talking about? Okay. So how do I do that? I kind of broke it down 6, 7 things. You start off, I think we're all blessed. We have our paper. Okay. We have the Lake Charles American Press, been around for decades. In Shreveport, I know Lafayette has theirs. Okay, you start there. What's happening in the local news? What's happening in the small communities? Okay, TV stations, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Shreveport, we all have that. What's happening in the weather? What's happening in closures? Weather updates, okay? About 20 years ago, I'm still wet behind the ears, I'm still struggling, I'm trying to do whatever, and Bruce actually took me under his wing. But there's one thing that came up, that get to know the Visitors Bureau. Who knows more about your community than them? And now with the websites of the world, the Twitters, the Facebook, everyone, get to know that. I encourage you because that's how the game has changed now. It's not just relying on the radio onlines of the world, the complete sheets of the world. You know, there was a time where radio stations, they go out there and, yeah, great, you know, every morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's always there. But yet, it's great. I mean, wow, I have audio of this. I have, you know, of this, that, whatever. I've got the news. I've got the sports. I've got Charlie Sheen bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And it's all great, and it'll make the show sound like Hollywood. But I kind of lost that because of the fact that it didn't really connect to the Frugers and the Thibodeaus and the Fontenot. People who don't really give a shit about that. So it was tough. So just keeping the paper, the TV, the Tourist Bureau, but also don't lose count. I mean, you have to establish this cake. We're going to build a cake. The icing on it is the TMZs, but just keep that equal mix. Also, getting familiar with Facebook. No matter if it's your own personal Facebook, or maybe it's the station's Facebook, or maybe if it's, I don't know, the Twitter accounts and all that. Try and find that one thing. What the hell is Lake Charles talking about? What is Lafayette talking about? Being relevant today. And sometimes, oh my gosh, you find that one thing. You don't want to open up and become a total bitch session. Easy for me to say. You know, you start off with your question in the morning, whatever. If it's early, if it's 6:30, if it's 7:20, whatever you want to do, and open up those phone lines, because once you have it, I mean, Scott is my witness. We have this one thing, and all of a sudden they call to the point. It's like Gator 99.5. Let me tell you about. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
They sound good.
Yeah, they really do. Okay, but here's another thing though too. It makes you stand apart then from the rest. I allow, by my choice of being involved in my show, meaning I'm a proud father of 4. 3 of them live here in Louisiana. 1's in the Army Reserve. All 4 of these people are characters. I share. You can ask him, sometimes I have a weird way of thinking and I get myself into situations, blah, blah, or sometimes life just deals me the shittiest, craziest cards, but I'm okay talking about it. As long as it's prepared, as long as it has a point, getting from point A to point B. I mean, you know, what Jude was talking about, you know, you can come up with all this and then cut, and then cut, and then cut, and make it relevant, have your bang for your buck as far as getting the punchline, making it, you know, connect with Scott because he's my wingman as far as, you know, the wise ass cracks and whatever the case may be. But from the local, from the media, as far as the Twitters of the world and Facebook, whatever the case may be, it all comes down to preparing. If you want to get there at 6 o'clock, now don't get me wrong, you might be an established person, and I'm not here to judge you because you're here today and you're here on your own merit. And maybe it works for you. Well, all I know is that, you know, you have people that work in Dallas, that work in these major markets. They'll all tell you the same damn thing. My God, look at you. I mean, you're the big ta-da from this particular market. Just about everyone will tell you, how'd you do it? Stay local. That's how you do it. No. But you have this bit. You have this character. Yeah. But you stay local. And you don't ever lose the fact that, you know, it is 50-50. Actually, it's all in thirds. You have the entertainment, you keep it local, and you also have the listeners because they make or break you. So anyway, I hope this helped. I kind of shot people in the hip. I mean, I had these cards here, but then again, I'm up till early in the morning. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're done with it. And I'm like, who am I to tell you how to do your show and prepare? Because you've already got here, and here you are. And just from the different things I've said, I mean, I think it's a blessing working with each and every one of them.
You know, I think you made a really, really great point, though, too, in the middle of that. And it's so true with everything that we do in life. You get out of it what you put into it. So I think excellent point, Chris. We've got, the next one is mine. Number 9 on Kurt's list is visit with clients. That one, when I heard it, I said, wow, you're going to take us and tell us to go out and meet somebody I don't know? You know, because I tell you what, I think a lot of times we must be a psychiatrist's dream because of who we are. I know all of you, and all of you have a personality behind that microphone, and you have a personality outside the room. And it's a wonderful talent that you all have. That is what makes you special at what you do. But that's also part of, you know, what makes us good is that we're able to get in that room and focus and be that person. Whether it be goofy or smart or whatever it is, we are that character and we're that personality on the air, and we're somebody different outside. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because we can talk to 40,000 people at one time, we want to go out and stand in front of them and do it. I can imagine a lot of you here, even though you're on the air, you don't like doing MC events. You don't want to stand up in the Cajun Dome or the Century Tel and talk to everybody. That's not your comfort zone. So now we've asked you to go out and meet our clients. That's a little tough for some people. Some people probably very good at it. The one thing that we started doing, and I'll tell you, I started it and didn't finish because the world got going too fast, but that's my fault, and it's one of my goals this year is to get better, is I think the best way to do that is that our GMs, Lisa, Susan, myself, or your DOS should pair up with you and then know who the advertisers are on your show. Like, for instance, the first one that I did was on KPEL FM, and it was Bernie, and we have Cartridge World and the Hut. And I heard those commercials every single day on that show. I said, Bernie, do you know these people? I said, no. I said, great. That's who we're going to go see. And we just walked in. I'm there, you know, as a GM. And she's there as the air personality. And we just walked in to say, hey, you advertise on our show every day. We want to thank you for your business, and we hope that we're doing a good job for you. And they're going, where's the salesperson? No, there's no salesperson here. We just want to come by and say thanks. We wanted you to put a face with a voice also. You know Bernie now. And talk about being thrilled. And it wasn't just from that aspect of, I know the personality of the superstar now or whatever it is. We're going in there and saying, thank you for spending your money with us and entrusting us to grow your business. Thank you. So I think one way that we need to do this is get with your GM or your DOS or whoever's got time, partner up with them and find somebody that advertises on your show every day, every week, whatever it may be, and start with them. Because I think Kurt's deal is are we supposed to see one a week or one a month or something like that? I can't possibly do one a week with 7 stations and, every day and all that stuff, so you kind of got to split it up. Maybe take a Frank or a Pam or somebody else if you want, but go in there and just shake their hand and say, thanks for advertising on my show. Do you listen to my show? No, yes, whatever it may be. Start the conversation. You be in there 5 minutes, in and out. But let me tell you what, I guarantee you there ain't nobody else in town walking in to their advertiser saying, thanks for advertising on my show. And it's coming from the personality. And I'm just there to help break the ice. I mean, you want to do it. You want to put your hand in their hand and say, thank you. I appreciate it. You know how far that'll go? You know how much easier it is too? Because I can walk in and chances are I know them already, or if not, I know enough about them to walk in and do that. And having the GM or the sales manager or somebody go in with the air personality and say, thanks, man, it don't get no better than that. And it's not really that complicated. But to ask us to do that on our own, how are you going to pick? Who are you going to go see? You're not sure. You could look at that log every day and go, I don't know them. Oh, they're out of town. They're out of town. Oh, I got nobody to see. No, every one of us has local advertisers on our show. So take that list, look at it, find out who it is that, you know what? Some of you cats probably have live spots that you're doing for people and you've never been to the dealership or the restaurant or whatever because some salesperson just handed you the copy. Go see them. Go say thanks. How am I doing? Do you hear what I do? Can I do better? What would be different? Whatever. Man, talk about making a friend. It's not a scary thing when you know you're going in there to make somebody happy. Because there's no way in the world is somebody going to throw you out for walking in and going, thanks for your business. Now, I've been thrown out many times walking in saying, I want to talk to you about your advertising. Get the hell out. That's happened many a time, and that's embarrassing. But I've never been thrown out when I walked in and said, thank you for doing business. So find a plan, find a way. And you know what? Even if you can't find one of us, then maybe you find your brand manager, or maybe you get the salesperson themselves, take them in there. Do this, and man, you want to feel good about yourself? Go in and do that. You're going to feel great. Jude?
We have someone who does a weekend show for our sports station, and he sells his own advertising.
Yes.
And for Christmas, he wrote hand letters to all his advertisers thanking them.
Yes.
Written by him. How impressive is that?
That's in this day and age too. How many, just for fun, how many people in here still send a written thank you note for a gift or something? Mama taught you well. And let me tell you what, it's so much more than an email. And I've been guilty. I've sent an email. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Man, if I'd have just taken, and we supply them. Y'all got thank you cards? You got them in Lake Charles? We got them in? Order them. Yeah, I'll pay for them. Take 5 minutes, and that handwritten card still means something to somebody. Again, it's like Didge was saying, we live in a social media world now. We know more about people through social media than we do interaction. So if we can be the one that steps out of that social media role and gets back into the human role, wow, man. And look, social media is very, very important. Don't get me wrong. But the difference between good and great is that much. And going and making that personal contact is only that much more. Aaron?
I just want to say, I'm not manager, but I do this private. Every remote that I do, I write a handwritten card to whoever the person I know is. Thanks for having me. It was great. I hope it works out for you. A lot of people don't even know I do it, but unless they've heard from them. But every remote I do, and I'll hear from them the next time I go. They'll go, oh, I got your note. That was sweet.
There you go. So,
10 seconds.
like we did this morning, tell me something about yourself that is memorable. What's going to make me remember you? We did great with that. Now, how is somebody else going to remember you from all the others that have been in there? You're the one that sent the handwritten note. That's strong. That's strong. Those of you that have kids, teach them that. Teach them to write a thank you note for a birthday gift, a wedding gift, a congratulatory, whatever it is. Teach them, and you'll put your kids one step ahead the next person.
There was somebody on that, it's just a quick story, but there was somebody who was applying for a job, and they told me this, they got a job because they were applying and they weren't the best qualified, but they wrote the person a thank you note for an interview. And she told them, I wasn't even gonna call you back. She said, but it was because of this, and she held up the note. She said, nobody does this anymore.
That's right.
And got the job.
That's great.
Because of the handwritten note.
So true. So true. Great. All right, number 10. Michael Dot Scott going to tell us how to have fun. Talk about talk about a side.
I am going to make you have fun. Keep the clothes on, right?
Well, I don't know. Some of them, hopefully.
I was wondering why there was a guitar in our car upstairs.
All about the cowbells.
Didn't bring it. Oh, we need more cowbells.
Y'all want to win some weird shit?
Yeah.
I heard you had cocaine.
Hey, look. He hadn't beat it out of me yet. So here's what we have. We have this shirt, which is the hippopotamus. Kind of fly as hell, right?
Wow.
Got that. The Walking Dead is in Christopher Walken. I brought one of our station tanks for you to win. You can win it. I got some CDs and shit because I know you need that. But the cool thing, this is a symbol autographed by Phil Collins. How cool is this? I didn't even know we had it. Ooh. I found it. So, all right, so here's what we're going to have to do. And I'm going to need your help. Okay? We're going to play a little Name That Tune. I have a set list. Hopefully this little thing will be loud enough. So if you would help me, I'm going to play a few riffs, and then the second you know what it is, you say what it is.
Shout it out as loud as you can.
Maybe okay. Here we go. And then if you win and you get it, you just pick whatever you want. All right, you ready? Yes, you got it right. I got it. All right, well done. You want to win a prize? Yeah, come pick a prize.
Pick the hippos.
Very good.
All right. Are you ready for the next one? Okay. Very good. Come pick some out. Okay, Phil Collins, it's all yours. I quit. All right, let's see. Here we go. Here's number 3. This is out of tune. I'm sorry. Yes. Who won? Yes. It's Rush. I'm gonna call down.
T-shirt.
Rush.
go. Here's the next one. It's a newer one. Everybody gets it right. I don't know who wins on that.
Who's first?
Dave still wins.
Hippo or tank top? Okay.
Good choice. All right, let's see. Yes. Who said it? John Michael Montgomery. He wins. Okay. All right, here's one.
Wear it now.
Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. Maybe. Yes, Beverly Hills 90210. You are the winner.
Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Lincoln Park, Royal Blood, Wall Nation,
Good choice. All right, I got one more, I think. Yes, that is correct.
CD, you want AC/DC?
Try one more. Go one more. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
So,
no free bird or stairway to heaven. So I decided to do this. I only because I was asked to come and talk about having fun on the radio, and I didn't know what the hell I was going to talk to you all about. I didn't, and a lot of what I had written down, like other people have said, has already been said. But one thing I would want to say is, when I had the idea to do this, I wasn't going to do this initially. I was just going to come talk. And then I had the idea to do it. And immediately I had the idea not to do it. You know, don't do it. Just don't do it. You're going to regret it. It's going to be horrible and suck. And then the next thought was, no, you need to do it because it's different. And, you know, sure, it may suck. It may go over well, but how can I not at least want to take that chance and, you know, and have a little fun? And this is me. This is what I do. I sit around all day and dick around on the guitar when I'm not working. I mean, this is just, it's what I'm about. So for me, having fun on the radio is being what I am about with the listener. You know, I try to stay as one-on-one as possible, and just be calm and talk about things. And I think that when you're comfortable with your listeners, and you do take these ideas, and we all have these ideas that we bullshit with our friends or whoever it is, and we say, man, that'd be a great idea if we did this on air, and then we don't do it. How many times do we do that? And that's why I made myself do this. I wasn't going to do it. I was like, no, go ahead and do it. We should be doing the same things on air, whether it's a promotion, whether it's, you know, whatever you want to do with your next break, post, whatever it is, within reason. You know, you don't want to get in trouble. But these ideas we come up with and never follow through with, these are the things that I feel will let people have fun with us, let us have fun with them. Therefore, hopefully make us memorable. You know, we'll stick out. We will be different. And doing different things than everybody else is doing in your building, in the market, whatever it is. And that's kind of it. That's really all I have. I just wanted to come give some weird shit away and say hi.
Fox on the list.
Oh, yeah.
It got bumped.
You want these?
I'll set them over here.
Oh, you're in.
No, I think excellent point. I think, one thing that he was saying is, don't doubt yourself. Go with your gut. How many times we say my first thought was the right one? Go ahead and do it. And like Robert said though, but stay in that frame. I got some folks that went and saw what was I forget what the name of the movie was about Howard Stern, but he basically told everybody, if you're not in your GM's office at least once a week, you're not doing your job. No, we don't want to go there. Stay in that little frame and but try it. Next section we're going to go to is something that I think all of us do at some time or another, and not me, but we also have some folks that's all they do for us. But a lot of times we've got to take off and we've got to have a day off or whatever, but we need to voice track our shift. We have several places like in Lake Charles. I mean, we got probably 5-6 shifts that I know of. Shows. Sorry, that are voice tracked every day. There's a real art to it, and for the most part, I think people are pretty good at it. But man, there is some cats that are just awesome. I know Bruce being one of them. I remember one Saturday, I'm listening all day and I'm going, he doesn't work on Saturdays. Why is he there? And I thought, well, somebody called in sick. He decided to do it. One of those, I called him. He said, no, I'm at home. Just a phenomenal voice tracking job. So I said, let's take it one step further, because it's kind of easy to voice track in your hometown when you know what the weather's like, you know what the news is. Chris, you know what's important that day, so you know you're going to talk about that, whatever. But let's take it one step further when you're voice tracking for a market that's way away from you. Speedy, I know you do Lake Charles. Tracy voice tracks for Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and has done that now, I guess, a couple years now, 2.5 years or something like that. So I asked Tracy to come up and tell us her little tricks and secrets to voice tracking. And I think trying to get, a successful voice tracking job done when you're, 250 miles to Tuscaloosa or something? 6-7 hour drive. So why don't you come tell us how you voice track? Thanks.
The first thing you have to do, Mike, is you have to bring in a big curtain, because I don't mind talking. I just don't like it when I can see the people.
You want to take our clothes off?
No! No, I really don't. I'm like way nervous. I might throw up. I'll just let you know. Well, the first thing
That would be memorable.
If I threw up, my blue chunks, yeah, they wouldn't have to imagine anything. They would completely visual. One of the things that in getting ready for this, that I found very interesting is just to underscore what most of you said was in researching all of this. I found an article on actually a Clear Channel study that was done in 2014. And I won't give you all the credentials, but basically it was when comparing radio personalities to other media personalities, 6 out of 10 listeners said that radio hosts are like a friend whose opinions they trust. So this was an actual study. This wasn't just somebody talking to somebody else. This was University of California, doctors, people who have all the 8 million ABCDEFGs behind their name and paid for that to be behind their name. 47% of listeners active on radio personality or radio station social media feeds said they feel more connected to their favorite personalities because they can interact through social media. And according to one doctor, a PhD doctor, she said on-air personalities have a unique two-way relationship with listeners, one that engenders comfort, trust, and admiration. So I thought I'd share that with you guys today because I thought it was very interesting. And one last factoid, more than 6 out of 10 listeners are specifically likely to talk about things on-air personalities have said, so 60%, often through their social media networks, further extending the reach and impact of personality endorsements. So that may be something good for your sales team as well. Just to kind of tie a big bow around the 10, when I was growing up, my mom would always tell me, you have a problem with authority. Who doesn't, right? And so when the 10 came down, I thought, and most of the people that I know in this business,
probably do too. I hate to be told what to do. So when something like the Big Ten comes down, I look at it as, oh, don't tell me what to do. And so the more that I looked at the Big Ten or the 10 things, you know, I look at that and I, you know, buck authority and hate all that stuff. And then I thought, be prepared or don't open the mic. Be entertaining and informative. Know you're out or get to the point. Pretty much the same thing, because when we were coming up in the business, it was know you're out. Know when to shut up. And have fun, which are 4 of the 10 that we covered today. Well, for those of us who have been in the business for as long as we have, that's what we do. Isn't that what we've done forever? In terms of voice tracking, I remember back in the early 90s, you know, I've wanted to be on the radio since I was 11. First time I ever sat behind a radio microphone was at a Christian radio station. My mom and dad were big charismatic Catholics. Woo! And they bring me to this Christian radio station, and I sat behind a mic and I read Isaiah 49, and I thought, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so I did everything I could to be that person, on the radio. And so I, like whoever said that they hung around until they hired him, who said that, that was me. I mean, I just hung around. You know, I mean, I literally hung around, did free stuff until they finally were like, we better pay her to be here. So in the early 90s, I remember when automation started. You remember the big automation machines? And the first one was, God, it was huge. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified, because I thought that thing's going to take my job. I'm never going to be able to be on the radio. Does anybody else remember those things?
I remember from the 80s, the early 80s.
Okay, well, see, and I was.
Yeah.
But was anybody else scared by that? I mean, I can't be the only person on the planet that was scared, that sounded like that thing was going to replace me. Am I the only person in the room that remembers that and was scared of that?
Be honest, because I know.
I mean, really, who was scared of that? Okay, I was terrified by that. So I actually got out of radio completely for about 5 years, worst 5 years of my life. And so when I came back, and then computers were really in, and the voice tracking was available. And that big thing was going, thank God. I thought, well, this is really intriguing, because all of a sudden it saved time. The trap of voice tracking was that all of a sudden it disconnected us from that show. Who also has been, I got to go voice track my show. I'll be only a second. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm done. And that's the trap that we get into. The most important part for me as a DJ, and I think for all of you, is connecting with that listener. That is what I love about broadcasting, whether I'm on camera or behind a microphone, is that true, who was the one who said that one-on-one connection? Scott, I know what you're feeling. I enjoy that. I love even voice tracking, sitting in that box and knowing that every time I open my mouth, I'm connecting with somebody. When I voice track Tuscaloosa, I always have a number of tabs open in on my web browser. I've got my cut sheet with my jock notes, which unfortunately we don't have a whole lot to talk about right now. I have the website open. I have weather.com or Wonderground open so that I know what's going on weather-wise. And I have my Twitter feed open. Now, social media has been talked about a lot here this morning in terms of being able to connect with your listeners. I encourage you, and it's also been talked about what's going on in your area, but make sure, especially if you voice track out of market or if you're voice tracking ahead, to check it not just while you're tracking, but as you go through the day. what's happening. And there may not be, and I'm trying to figure out one thing that somebody's talking about. I know for Tuscaloosa, it's awful because Tuscaloosa is the University of Alabama and that's it. Okay? But then, roll Tide.
Yeah, yeah.
I get paid to say it, okay? Don't hate. When you get paid to say roll Tide, you say roll Tide. Because there may not be one thing. There may be several things. And one of the challenges we have in Tuscaloosa, unfortunately, they're trying to rebuild that market and so forth and so on, is there's the website, they're really struggling. So a lot of times I'll find things that are going on, a pet fair or whatever, through Tuscaloosa News or the local news TV station there or whatever. Make sure that you are following the right things, not just the right people. Make sure that your Twitter feed is populated by following the right things in your area. Don't just follow the people who are going to love you and give you accolades. Man, that feels great. But can they really give you what you need? Joe Q Public is fantastic, and they gonna pat you on the back and tell you how much they love you, and oh, you're so cute, and I want to touch your beard. But what are they gonna give you? Make sure that your Twitter feed is populated with the things that you need. That is gonna go a long way to helping you stay local. Also, one of the things in terms of the websites and helping you generate content, and I've helped Monk a lot with this in Tuscaloosa, and I've helped Bruce with it in Lafayette and helping him to help everybody else, is when you come across something on Twitter, they also are really good for helping you generate ideas for posts for later. And I'm sure you guys do this, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, and you're probably laughing at me under the table. But if it's interesting to you, it's probably interesting to other people. And what I'll do is, if I see a link and I don't have time to read it right then, open it, copy link, and email it to yourself from your phone. I do that all the time. I have tons of emails, post idea, radio stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'll go back later and I'll think, oh, okay, I don't want that. But then I'll think, oh man, this is pretty cool. The other day, I wrote a post on ways to save space on your iPhone, because I just bought a new iPhone, and we got like over the weekend, or like in 36 hours, we got like 1,000 hits or something. Who knew? You know, and it was just a link that I found on Huffington Post because I followed that or whatever. Also, with the local in voice tracking, remember when you stay local, even if it's something national, like an iPhone post. I mean, let's say you're talking about that and you want to toss to your website or whatever. Mention something local. That's one of the things that they mention in staying local. What's the weather like? Hey, I know it's a great day here in T-Town, but James Spann says it's going to get better. Then you go into whatever the wrap is. The other thing is, especially if you're voice tracking out of market, or you have somebody voice tracking out of market, know what that area is called. We're a KBM. Tuscaloosa is called T-Town. The local meteorologist who does our weather is called James Spann in Tuscaloosa. Who does the weather there? Brand managers, make sure that your talent knows what your area is called. What are the main streets? They don't know. And if they say something wrong, call them on it. Let them know. Communicate with them. Also, if somebody has voice tracked ahead, especially in market, if somebody's voice tracked ahead and something happens, communicate with one another, because chances are they can just run back to the station and redo it, and be willing to do that. If you have voice tracked for a Saturday and you are in town and something happens and your brand manager calls you and says, look, there's a really bad wreck and traffic, pick your ass up and go in and do something about it. One of the things that radio has over everybody else, and if you've been in this industry for long enough, you know it, is the fact that immediacy. Amen. Immediacy. Television does not have it. Radio does not have it. Yes, internet has it, but we have it hands down. There is no other broadcast media that can touch us. Nobody. So if you sit in your ass at your house in your pajamas and your slippers, and you just too damn lazy to get your ass up because I-10 is blocked, then shame on you. Then you need to let somebody else voice track your shift.
Tell it, sister. Hey, did your coon-ass voice come over and just go listen to it?
No. I was very well trained by Dr. William Hageman. Thank you very much. What I'm saying is there are too many opportunities for you to do a good job. Some guy in Tuscaloosa came over and delivered a cigar to me. I don't know, never got a cigar. I did a bit on a cigar, something or other, and my brand manager texted me. He said, some guy just dropped a cigar off to you. I'm like, what? He said, you just did a bit on a cigar, and he wanted you to have one. He thought I was in the studio in Tuscaloosa.
Let me ask you this, and Speedy, chime in if you face it too, is particularly when you're doing this every day, and a lot of our folks do every day, but it seems to me like it's so different because you don't have the visual stimuli, you don't have the same feeling as you do when you're going in to do your show. So you've got a music log there and you've got your other references. How do you make it sound a little different every day? How do you change it up where it doesn't sound the same on Tuesday as it does Thursday?
Because it's not Tuesday on Thursday.
Okay.
Because the same way that you don't do it in the local market. I mean, a radio microphone. I mean, I don't know about Speedy, but I mean, I'm in a studio. It's a different day of the week. I take time before I open that mic to look at things, to see what's going on, to look ahead. It's about being prepared before you open that mic and knowing what's going on.
You answered my question.
It's about preparation and respecting my listeners enough. I mean,
It's what I like to do. Like I'll pretend like I'm in there.
yeah, that's exactly right.
I think outside of my window right now, I can see the I-10 bridge.
And that's the other thing is if you voice track another market and you haven't been there, do what you can to take time to visit. That's the other thing. You have to know what it looks like too.
Yes. Oh yeah, visuals. I mean, because that's what people, when they're listening to you, they're getting visuals. So in my head, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
And you have to care enough. You have to care. You have to. A voice track show is not just your voice being recorded. I mean, the listener doesn't know. I mean, I voice track everything. I do no live shows for Town Square. But most of the people in Lafayette who listen to me don't know that. I mean, I get all the time. When do you sleep? Do you never not work? Because I'm on a broadcast signal. I'm on a broadcast signal 7 days a week, whether it's on radio or TV. Because they don't know. They should never know whether you are live or recorded. In market, out of market, whatever. And I am serious when I say, if you are not willing to invest the amount of time and effort in a voice track show that you are a live show, then you need to ask your brand manager to give that show to somebody else or to dry track it, because your listener deserves that. Bottom line.
I've actually heard some stations like going back and forth with Clear Channel, and you can tell some of those guys, they're just getting checked. Like,
And what's the point? What's the point?
I was going to say that I learned how to voice track good from listening to bad voice tracking, and you can always tell. And how many of them do you hear? You don't hear the freaking positioning statement, the call letters, and they end every break. For more, go to our website. It's just like clockwork.
And you can send them to the website all the time, and but not. You can tell the listener deserves better. The listener just deserves and that's ultimately, isn't that why we became jocks? That is why we do what we do. Yes, we have to do everything else, but isn't that why we do what we do?
Isn't the market?
That's what, yeah.
I had a syndicated guy who does the same thing. He was sending slow jams. He was in the area. He drove in just to take me to dinner, and he was taking pictures of all the streets, everything. He wanted to go downtown. He wanted to see what the buildings look like. This guy's on over 100 stations, but he cared enough to know what the area looked like. What do people call it? He asked me questions all night. This guy's syndicated to me, and we should treat any voice track. We're closer. He's in San Jose, and he came down there.
And communicate with the DMEs and the brand managers too. The DMEs can give you, like, if you need something on the website, ask them to help you with it. You know, if there's something that you need there that's not there, you know, or whatever. you have any questions?
Good job. Thank you. You know, two other things came up. I had to write them down real quick because they came up, and they're phone calls that I've gotten, and I went, great, or they're emails that I've gotten, and Bruce got one of the same. And it was, you know what? Every time you guys talk about something, you tell me half the story and then say, go to my website. Well, you know what? I work on the road. I can't go to your website. I can't go see all this great stuff you talk about, and I just end up getting frustrated. So we know that we're trained to do that. We know that we have more on our website. But remember, let's not make every break about the website, because some people get pissed. I don't blame them. You know, it's like, hey, you ought to see what this looks like. The picture's on our website. And I work construction, and I'm out in the hot sun, and I ain't got no chance of seeing that. So that was a great email, and I think we answered it well and stuff like that. But it's something else to keep in the back of your mind. Don't send them there on every break. Number two, got one right now. Nathan, we haven't had time to visit, but this guy called. Great guy, and Keel would be certainly the same. Is he's blind. So all he does is listen to radio and stuff. And he says, but you know what? A lot of times on that news, you cut the story too short, and I don't get the rest. I don't have Braille on my computer. So it's like, I just have to listen to y'all. So it went even deeper with a guy that's blind. Actually, what he referred to when he called me was about the election coverage, because we kept covering every story and said totals on our website. Now, he thought we did a great job until it came to, if I wanted to know what the exact totals were, I was dead. I was waiting to hear how bad did they beat them, because I don't know what 56 to 44 is. But I want to hear the totals. So sometimes we just got to remember those. We can't get too caught up in the way that we've always been taught, or the way we've changed it to, I guess. Voice tracking. Tom, are you were supposed to go at 10:35. We kind of missed you. So are you ready to go for your end? What time is it? Do we need another break? Tell you what, we've got a working lunch, and they're setting it up. Why don't we take about a 10-minute break, and then we come back in. You can grab a sandwich and come back to chair, and then we'll start with you. How's that?
That's a nice view up there.
It is, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Figure out what's going on with this thing.
Yeah. I don't think one. I have it.
Oh. Is that all you?
Yep.
Are you not eating everybody?
I got a cute bladder.
How's your proud of that? Oh, there you go.
She's over here getting on
All messed up.
What?
What? What's up, my man?
Yo, what's happening?
Yes.
Tom, see it.
How you liking it?
Oh, I love it.